Hello, my name is Matthias and welcome to the FPL Scope and the Gameweek review for Gameweek 23. And honestly, I've been waiting this whole Monday for the Man City game to be played and just be able to moan about how shitty my game week was. But then Phil Foden stepped up, scored a hat-trick, and he's actually managed to help me get still a red arrow, but not by much. Like, it wasn't too bad of a game week after all. So let's just go through the whole game week and how it unfolded from start to finish, because that's basically been a bit of a roller coaster ride for me this weekend. Starts on Friday. Friday goes past, and we don't really get an announcement when it comes to the double game week for Liverpool. I see guys like Ben Carlin and stuff, and the Planet FPL guys say that it's pretty unlikely now that Liverpool will get a double game week in 25 after all. I see the price changes. Salah is going down in price, Haaland's going up in price. I figured I might as well do the transfers on Friday night, even though I don't really like making the transfers before the deadline day. But it is a couple like 0.1, 0.2 difference in terms of the price. And I felt pretty confident about Liverpool not getting a double game week after all, because basically the schedule gurus said so. And then I had two alternatives. I could have sold Salah to De Bruyne and Alvarez to Haaland, which is obviously what I did, as you can see on my screen. Or I could have done Trent to Trippier and Alvarez to Haaland. So that basically describes why my game week was so bad at the start of the game week, and then it's ended up being pretty good after all. But yeah, I do this on Friday nights because I've lost faith in Liverpool having the double game week. So I figure, even though I kept Salah for all this time, I might just as well sell him now, because it doesn't seem like he's going to get that double game week after all, and he's not going to play in game week 24 most likely either, or at least not starting game week 24. So I'd rather keep Trent, who has a better chance of starting in game week 24. That was my reasoning, at least. And then Saturday morning, before the game week even starts, we get the news that Liverpool do actually indeed get the double game week 25. And already I'm regretting selling Salah. I'm feeling so bad about not having Salah for the double game week, where I could potentially triple captain him in game week 25 without most people having Salah in their squads. So I'm pretty sad about that. And then the game week just unfolds with everything just going terribly. Solanke was my captain. He blanked. He didn't play well at all. I got points from Palmer and Watkins, but most people have Palmer and Watkins, so I didn't really gain much rank from those guys either. Watkins especially, or I don't know, Foden. Not Foden. I'm going to get to Foden eventually. But Palmer was my vice captain. I was pretty set on Solanke captain, and honestly, Haaland probably would have been my captain if not for Solanke. So yeah, the Watkins points were never really that big of a loss anyway. But yeah, Estepinian, terrible, doesn't play, 0 points. Gusto, one of my differentials, 1 point, doesn't play. De Bruyne concedes 4 goals, and Trippier gets the assist and the goal. I was so close to getting Trippier as well, so I'm really annoyed about that. Really wanted Salah back in my team. And yeah, everything just felt really bad, especially after the Solanke blank. And then also on top of that, Garnacho, who I had to bench because of my moves, because I did Salah to De Bruyne. I had to bench someone for De Bruyne, and that was Garnacho, and he scored twice against my favorite team, West Ham. So yeah, the game week was terrible for me in general. And granted, it would have been even better if I'd done those moves. If I'd done Trent to Trippier and kept Salah in my team and benched him and started Garnacho, I would have had an amazing game week, even without the captaincy change, even if I still had Solanke captain. So yeah, still a bit mad about that, but then the Foden points, 20 points from him, hat-trick, fantastic from him. I didn't really expect that much. I expected good things from him because, as you'll see with my free hit team, I actually had him in my free hit team as well. And the free hit team is absolutely fantastic. That's what I'm going to show you after I go through this game week. But yeah, either way, Saka also helped at the end of the Sunday. The big game between Arsenal and Liverpool. Saka scored. Gabriel, who's on my bench and was on a lot of other people's starting lineup, he got a minus point for scoring an own goal, got a yellow card. Didn't get the assist either, controversially, I guess, but I talked about this in the weekend walkthrough video, or the FPL Scope eye test. The FPL eye test is what I have to call it, from yesterday. But either way, the Gabriel thing helped, the Saka thing helped, the Trent thing did not help at all, but still. The City game, Foden, amazing hat-trick from him, 20 points from him. I didn't expect that big of a haul from him. I knew he was someone that could score a lot of points at some point, but a hat-trick is way more than I expected. And that comes with Haaland just getting 5 points as a lot of people's captain as well. Haaland, for what it's worth, wasn't really that big of a deal when it comes to my rank. I think he had an effective ownership of 103% or just about that in my rank. So Haaland getting points was only like a slight negative to me, so it didn't really matter that much. But for what it's worth, I think De Bruyne, I'm not unhappy about having De Bruyne in my squad. Yes, they only got 5 points. I would have had a lot more points if I'd done the Garnacho starting move and then Trippier over Trent. But I feel pretty good about having De Bruyne for Game Week 25. And there's still a route for me to get Salah back for Game Week 25 as well, taking just one hit as well, and still potentially getting Darwin on top of that. So, yeah, I'm not too unhappy about my squad going forward now. And the Game Week actually ended up being decent overall. Yes, it's a red arrow, but it's only a red arrow with about 8k places, just about. And that's my biggest red arrow since Game Week 14. So I've actually had a pretty good run of game weeks in a row now. The only downside is the fact that I did wildcarding Game Week 20 when I was ranked about 60k. So I've gone down 2k spots 4 game weeks after using a wildcard, which is pretty bad. But at the same time, that wildcard was just a bonus. I had kept the wildcard up until the end of the first half of the season. So yes, there's a lot of missed points. If you've watched this channel the last few weeks, you've seen that I've had so many close calls. I benched Palmer in Game Week 20 when I really wanted to start him and have Tony in my team. I almost brought in Jota in Game Week 21. He was amazing after that. I almost got in Elise last week with the 16 points. Obviously now Elise is out for 2 months, it seems like. So that wouldn't have been the best transfer after all, especially with Saka getting 9 points now and 10 points last time. He's actually outscored Elise over the last 2 game weeks. But yeah, all in all, pretty happy with my position, pretty happy with my decisions as well. Not decisions particularly, but like my alternate decision. I've always had like 2 different choices, and the 50-50 choices for me the last few weeks have been just terrible. Like I've gone with the wrong choice every single time, every single step on the road. But yeah, still in a decent position, still only 36 points behind the top 10k, still in a great position to go into the top 10k within the end of the season, which is always my goal. So yeah, all in all, a pretty tumultuous game week. I was pretty down in the dumps early in the game week, like I was in Game Week 20 when Palmer had that massive score on my bench in the first game of the game week. But all in all, pretty good score. But as we'll see from the free hit draft that I had, I could have free hitted and had an even bigger score, because my free hit draft this week was absolutely fantastic, as you'll see right now. So yeah, this is basically my team selection for the free hit. 104 points in total, which is a game week rank of 24k or just about 25k. The only downside to this free hit draft was the fact that also in this free hit draft, I actually had Solanke in as captain. He blanked. He was the only forward player or attacking player that blanked for me, both in my team score, which you can see here. Every single player returned apart from Solanke, and also in my free hit draft, every single attacking player and defensive player actually, every single player apart from Solanke returned in this free hit draft. So for anyone just listening, free draft, I doubled up on Aston Villa defenders against Sheffield United. They beat Sheffield United 5-0. Martinez in goal with 7 points, and Alex Moreno, I kept faith in him. I had him on my free draft for Game Week 22 as well, where he got -1 point. But I kept faith in him against Sheffield United because that's a great game for him. He scored, got a clean sheet. 2 bonus points, 3 bonus points went to Watkins, obviously. So 14 points from Moreno, fantastic from him. Udogi, second game week in a row, he's been really good. 10 points in Game Week 22, 4 points in Game Week 23, which is still better than most defenders this week, because most defenders were terrible, as you saw from my team, with Trent 1 point, Estupinan 0 point, and Gusto 1 point as well. Just awful. Trippier 9 points, obviously I really wanted him in my team, because I did have him in my free draft, really liked him there. So yeah. It sucks a bit to not get those points, but at the same time, feel pretty good about having De Bruyne in my squad still as well. But yeah, I really wish I would have had Salah and Trippier rather than Trent and De Bruyne, but still, not the worst thing in the world. Palmer, 8 points. He was always a good pick for this week. Scored against Wolves, 8 points for him. Gordon, unlucky not to get more points because Newcastle scored 4 goals in that game. He had to be subbed off with an injury at the half when they had only scored 2 goals. So I think if he was able to complete the match, he would have had a lot more points. So unlucky for anyone that had Gordon and had to bench someone like Foden or Garnacho to accommodate Foden in their team, because Gordon could have had a lot more, and the other guys, you can't really expect such big hauls from Garnacho and Foden, but that happened this game week. But speaking of Foden, he's also part of this free draft. Tells you something about how much I appreciate Foden as a pick. Had him in the free draft as well, 20 points from him. Pascal Gross, 11 points. I mostly had him because I thought Joe Pedro was not going to play, and I thought Gross would be on penalties, on top of being a good player against a pretty poor Crystal Palace side without Eze and potentially Ulise as well. That worked out well. 2 assists for Gross and some bonus points, 11 points for him in total. And then up front, Watkins with the 18-pointer, fantastic gaming from him. Haaland with the 5 points, pretty disappointing from him against Brentford, even though he played 85 minutes and they created so many chances. He wasn't really like that dangerous either. I felt like De Bruyne and Foden looked like better picks for this game week in particular, but I think Haaland is a sleeping giant as well. And I kind of like the fact that he's going under the radar a bit for both Game Week 24 and Game Week 25 because yeah, he's probably going to be the best triple captaincy option this season in Game Week 25. But we'll see. I'm still unsure if I want to go with Salah or Haaland as the triple captain in Game Week 25, but that's further down the road. But either way, for this free draft, Haaland got 5 points, got an assist for the final Phil Foden goal, which was really nice to see. And then last and least points, Solanke with 4 points as the captain. Real shame that I didn't captain someone else in the free draft because that would have been a massive score. Imagine if I'd done Solanke to Cunha and Gordon to Richarlison, then that would have been basically the highest score of the whole game week, I guess, because that is pretty hard to beat without any chips used, at least. But yeah, 104 points, a massive score for my free hit drafts. My free hit drafts for the last few weeks have been absolutely fantastic as well. I started doing these free hit drafts in the team selection video for back in like game week 10 or 11 or something. And at the start of doing the free hits, I did really, really badly. I always underperformed my own team with the free hit draft. But now, the last few game weeks, I've just been really, really good when it comes to the free hit draft. So that's really nice to see as well. I feel like my decision making is getting better and better. It's just the fact that I shouldn't make decisions on Friday nights right around midnight. I committed 2 cardinal sins when it came to my own team. I did those late transfers. And now I can't actually remember the second cardinal sin that I made, but either way, I made really late transfers before price changes. That usually ends up being really bad for me. I've done it like 4 or 5 times in a row now, where it's been pretty disastrous score for me doing transfers because of some slight price changes of 0.1, 0.2. And the other cardinal sin was getting in a player so I could bench a good option. Like I did that for Game Week 20 on my wildcard. I brought in Alvarez rather than having Tony, who was suspended for that game week, just to bench Palmer, who got 18 points that game week. So I don't really like doing that. But Garnacho against West Ham at home, which was the guy I had to bench because I brought in De Bruyne. It's not the best game, West Ham at home. It's still a pretty good game because West Ham are pretty terrible at the moment, I think. But Garnacho, I've had him on my team since Game Week 21, and he's had basically 3 blanks in a row, but he's looked quite dangerous and looked pretty good. Had a couple assist potential opportunities as well, but I did not expect this 16-pointer at all, basically. So yeah, still a bit sad about benching him and doing the Salah move. Could have been so much better. Could have been close to 100 points and still had Salah for Game Week 25. Because currently it's looking like Salah is going to be back and play a couple minutes at least against Burnley in 24 and then be ready for Game Week 25 in that double. And I think Salah, if you know anything about Salah and Klopp, it's the fact that Salah plays basically all the available minutes where he's fully fit to play. So I think he's going to play at least 90 plus 60 minutes in the double game week. Maybe he gets rested in the second game just to rest him for the cup final, in the League Cup final. But I think Salah is going to be a great option in Game Week 25, and I'm really sad about not having him in my squad. But I'm pretty close to getting him in for a pretty cheap or decent change in my team. So yeah, I'm going to talk more about that in the team section video on Friday. But this was just like a short and sweet. Was supposed to be a bit of a moaning session, I guess, not in that way, about how bad my game week was. But now in the end, I feel pretty happy and blessed, I should say, about the Foden points at least. So yeah, all in all, not the best game week for me, but it could have been so much worse. So I'm excited to see what the future brings with FPL. When it comes to the future of this channel and the videos this week, tomorrow you will see the weekly wildcard draft for game week 24 and see what I think is the best squad to have in Fantasy Premier League going forward in the next 4 to 5 game weeks and beyond. Then on Thursday, we will have the FPL Scope podcast. We'll see if Kevin is ready for recording on that or not, or if I do it myself. Scheduling issues is sometimes a thing there, but I think we'll be able to do the podcast together because I really want to hear Kevin's thoughts as well going into Game Week 24 and double Game Week 25 as well. And then on Friday, we'll get the team section video where I go through my plans for this upcoming game week. I think the plans are pretty clear for me now after seeing these games. Actually, like I will admit this, before the Man City game, I was sort of toying with the thing of potentially selling Foden and getting in Salah that way. I've also thought about selling Saka and getting Salah that way, but for now, I think I'm not going to get Salah for Game 24, but potentially for Game 25, so I'm going to keep that in mind. But I'm going to talk way more about that in the team section video on Friday, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me on this channel and on this endeavor, this attempt at getting a YouTube channel up and going and being a successful sort of YouTube channel. Maybe I'll get to monetize it and earn some money from it eventually, but for now it's just a fun project at least. And happy to have you with me here. Subscribed or not, if you're still watching this without subscribing, fair enough. I do that sometimes as well with some YouTube channels, so I get you, but I would really appreciate if you subscribed as well. It would really help massively for a smaller channel like myself. Or if you leave a like, if you don't feel like subscribing, if you're not sure about this channel yet, then yeah, leave a like if you can, because that would also be of great help for me. So with that, thank you for watching this video. Short and sweet one, thankfully not too much of a moan for me, because yeah, I was not feeling it earlier today. But Phil Foden's 20 points, very, very helpful for me when it comes to my team and my outlook for the future in FPL. So again, thank you for watching. See you next time, and goodbye.